Hello and welcome to the Farmhouse Podcast. We're a small-scale farm operation in the outskirts of Brooklyn, Wisconsin, interested in veggies, flowers, livestock, and honestly, whatever it is our family ventures into next. It's a learn from experiences kind of journey that we're on, and this podcast will share some valuable stuff happening in our area. Let's talk a little bit about your small-scale operation, what you're into, and how it works for you. Happy you're joining us for this episode of the Farmhouse Podcast.
Burning in your fireplace, I hear your voice, and it seems as if it was all a dream. I wish it was all a dream.
All right, what's up? Here we go. This is the short teaser for the launch of the Farmhouse Podcast. And to start us off, I'm going to share a little bit about me. My name's Kevin, and I was born and raised in the Midwest, having lived the past 20 plus years in South Central Wisconsin. I will be your host for the podcast. Ever since I was young, backyard gardening was always a part of my life as I grew up. My dad and grandfather both had backyard gardens, and I can remember planting, weeding, and harvesting in these small garden beds they had. There were probably 6 or 7 different vegetables from what I can remember, but the staples definitely still stand out in my mind. Those juicy garden tomatoes on a BLT, the fresh sliced cucumbers, and the sharp flavor of the green onions, which were also fun to pull up and shake off the soil from the roots. I remember my dad would harvest radishes, 10 to 12 at a time, clean them up, perfectly trim them, and then store them in some water in the fridge. A tasty snack at the ready throughout the summer, and crunching into one that had a touch of salt on it was the best. I'm pretty sure I always thought I would eventually have a backyard garden when I had my own house, but it wasn't until I was into my 20s or so when I started to learn and really understand more about the production of food. I also learned about different farming practices and the impacts, both positive and negative, they can have on the environment. I was fascinated by the stories of some who were using small plots of land to successfully nourish their entire family, even with some excess to share with others, and being environmentally mindful with the process they went about it. They were creating these small ecosystems right on their few acre plot of land, essentially manifesting a beautiful sustainable homestead. It had me hooked, and I dove right in trying to figure out some things. Reading about managing livestock and different heirloom seed varieties, talking to people about permaculture and garden layouts, I was super excited and felt inspired, but never really got anything of substance started. Now, life's twists and turns seemed to keep delaying action on this homestead vision that I had. But eventually, though, we landed on a 5-acre plot in Brooklyn, Wisconsin, and have been building our homestead for the past 10 years. A homestead that we call the Farmhouse. As a small-scale farm operation, we have grown from an initial approach of, hey, let's try out some of this farming stuff, to more of a, whoa, these passion projects we've got going on could actually be our full-time profession. In trying to balance some of our hobby projects with business ventures, with just the idea of feeding our family of 6, the development of a farming operation has been quite the journey. We've enjoyed lots of it and also struggled through some of the challenges. But just like with anything, you learn as you go and try to enjoy the process. Over the past 10 years, I feel like our family here at the Farmhouse has learned much more from our practical experiences in a trial-by-error approach than we ever could have from reading about it or watching videos on it. Now, don't get me wrong, we definitely try to learn up on our next venture, but there comes a point where we just decide to dive in and figure it out as we go. It's been those hands-on, getting dirty projects that provide us with some incredible joys when it goes well or is a success, and also provides us those gut-wrenching moments of failure when something tanks after investing hours of time and usually a good chunk of money, making us question if this farming thing is even worth it. But it's real. It's wholesome. It gives us fulfillment and this sense of pride, and sets us up with a lifestyle we stand by and wholeheartedly believe in on our homestead. A lifestyle that promotes responsible, sustainable farming practices with an appreciation for the land and the living things on it. some sweat equity that goes into projects that provide us with a wealth of benefits. We sometimes get really excited about something new we want to try. We talk about it, do some research on it, and often come to a point where we just need to take that leap of faith and jump in to try it out and really learn about it. And that's honestly the approach we've lived by at the farmhouse, and how our small-scale operation typically functions. Creating our homestead has been a journey indeed for our family, one that I'm really glad I'm on, though, and grateful for every day. So, what's the podcast going to be all about? Good question. For the majority of our initial start on the farm, we've been pretty confined in our own bubble, trying this out or that out, maybe asking a farming friend about a specific thing they too may have going on, but mostly just trying to figure this all out on our own, which does have some value to it. But I've recently realized that we have so many knowledgeable and talented small-scale farmers right around the corner, our neighbors, and close by South Central Wisconsin community members. And as we continue on this small-scale farming journey, I'm hoping to connect many of us. Also looking forward to learning a few things from each other's unique personal experiences and offer some comfort in hearing similar stories of those close by, and maybe even offer some inspiration to each other. I can't wait to get the Farmhouse Podcast started, and I'm looking forward to sitting down with many of you soon. Stay tuned for the release of episode 1 with a very special guest to kick us off. Hope you enjoyed this episode and got a few takeaways from it. Let us know if there's a small-scale farm operation you know of that could be a good fit for our podcast. Thanks for being part of our journey. Till next time, peace out.